This year has been mental, hasn't it? With everything that's happened in the past 10 months, it really doesn't feel like Halloween is coming up. But alas, here we are. It is the spooky time of year, and what better way to get yourself in the mood for Halloween? Playing some scary video games. Even games you don't deem scary have scary parts in them. With that being said, my name's Dave from Cahoots, mate, and I'm just rolling this title off the top of my head. These are 8 games with proper scary bits.
You're not smart. You're not a scientist. You're not a doctor. You're not even a full-time employee. Where did your life go so wrong?
Now, Resident Evil these days is actually quite a broad spectrum, with the past few games like Resident Evil 5 and 6 mostly being action orientated. The past few releases of remakes have been actually quite good and bring the series back to its horror roots. I'm going to throw together here the Resident Evil 2 remake and the original. Both of them are massively atmospheric, especially for back in the day, and with the re-release being an absolute overhaul, playing it in 2020 actually still makes you crap your pants. Now, both versions of the game cover Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield as they stumble through and try to escape from Raccoon City during the original zombie outbreak, with the original PS1 version having that scene with the liquor, and the remake having that scene with Mr. X. Both games still make for the perfect horror game and something to play on Halloween night. Let's just hope they remake the first game in the same vein as 2 and 3. Those zombies look absolutely insane. Mario 64. Wait, what? Yeah, that's right. Mario 64. As innocent as that game looks, there's actually a very sinister character hidden away in a very spooky level. The level being Big Boo's Haunt. You find your way into a room with a normal grand piano sitting in it. But as soon as you walk up to that piano, it turns out it has teeth and it starts chomping at you and chases you around the room. Now, it's actually unkillable, despite apparently a Nintendo Power magazine telling you that it is. I can absolutely guarantee you that this haunted many children back in the N64 days. So that's why it's on this list. Dead Space 2. The Dead Space series is an excellent horror series set in space, and as if Dead Space 1 didn't scar us enough, Dead Space 2 was released in January 2011 for the PS3 and Xbox 360. Set 3 years after the events of the first game, it still follows main character Isaac Clarke during a necromorph outbreak on a space station. What better place to have a zombie outbreak than the middle of space? The game was a massive success, received critical acclaim, and was praised for its narrative, graphics, atmosphere, horror, portrayal of violence, sound design, music score, gameplay, word building, art direction, and voice acting, which is insane. The game plays a lot like the Resident Evil games, survival horror with puzzle elements, as you encounter the mutated human corpses called necromorphs. This game still holds up to this day and is well worth playing around this time of year. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I know, I seem like I'm adding really weird titles to this list, but trust me, the game seems normal enough until you get to Lavender Town. And this was the same in the original Game Boy versions too. Now, Lavender Town included a ghost tower and was known for its ghost sightings and being the gravesite of Pokemon. The more you climb the tower, you come across what seem to be possessed humans with ghost Pokemon, with people visiting the building to pay respects to the fallen. On every floor there's something creepy, although still holds one of the most heartbreaking moments on a Switch game, and if you know about that Cubone and Marowak, then you know. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time had one of the creepiest villages in it I've ever seen. In the northeastern part of Hyrule, right next to Hyrule Castle Town, and at the foothills of Death Mountain, has Kakariko Village. From what seems like a lazy town, with life being pretty easy there, there's actually something sinister underneath. Later on in the game, when you learn the Song of Storms as an adult, travel back and play the song inside the windmill in front of Guru Guru, which dries up the well, which means Link can then go down inside the well. You may end up getting the Lens of Truth, but believe me, what's down there is pretty creepy. While exploring the Shadow Temple down there, you come across Dead Hand, a mini boss. First off, you enter a room with hands just floating from the floor which can grab you, and then out comes Dead Hand, a flabby mass covered in what looks like blood, with 2 small arms and a gigantic head with a massive mouth. Again, kids who had an N64 will definitely remember this. The Evil Within. The excitement behind this game was quite high, seeing as the Resident Evil series creator Shinji Mikami was behind it. It came out on the PS3, PS4, PC, Xbox 360 and Xbox One. The game focuses on Sebastian Castellanos as he goes through a Silent Hill-esque world and includes nightmare enemies and massive bosses, just like Silent Hill. But in my opinion, this game's a lot creepier. You gotta overcome puzzles, use stealth, and find collectibles. However, this game is arranged in chapters, which is how you progress through the story. It all happens pretty quickly while you're investigating a mass murder at a mental hospital. You're literally thrown straight into the game, and I'm sure everyone that played this remembers the keeper. Siren Blood Curse. This was another survival horror game published by Sony and was a PS3 exclusive. Came out in July 2008 in Japan and October 2008 everywhere else. This game covers 12 chronological episodes, each one containing parallel and intersecting chapters for different playable characters. The same vein to most survival horror games, this is third person, except you have an interesting feature called Sightjack, which lets you see through the enemy's eyes, allowing you to hide and use stealth effectively. The game follows a TV crew visiting Hanuda village in Japan, a mountain village that vanished completely in 1976. After witnessing a creepy ritual, the game kicks off in true storytelling form. If you haven't played this game yourself, the only thing you need to know is that the enemies are called Shibato and they do not die, and they're f***ing creepy. And last but definitely not least, The Last of Us 1 and 2. We all know The Last of Us by now. The first game's incredible, the second game's incredible, but both hit home a bit too much in 2020. With a mass pandemic wiping out 60% of the world's population with a fungal-based brain-altering infection, the game follows survivors Joel and Ellie. I don't need to explain to you the story, but you know how good it is. However, the scary thing about the game is the clickers, which shows you what humans can turn into once infected and what cordyceps could actually potentially do to the human brain, with many parts in the games being overrun by them, stealthily trying to get around them, or just flat out killing them, or even sometimes getting them to kill the enemies for you. There are some seriously scary bits in these games, and why not play them again on the PS5? I know I'm going to. So that was my list. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you all have a really good Halloween this year. Try and make it the best as possible. Just don't do anything stupid. I've been Dave from Cahoots, mate. Please give us a thumbs up if you like this video, or a thumbs down. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Engage with us. Let's start a conversation. What would you put on this list? If you like our stuff, please subscribe. Give it a share. I'll see you next time.